barbed wire.
This is a historic moment, the arrival of the North Vietnamese regular army in Saigon.
The fighting around Saigon in the last 2 days we were there was desperate. The fight for Newport Bridge, only 2 miles out of Saigon, was the bloodiest we've seen. Early Monday morning, a Viet Cong sapper unit, probably no more than 20 or 30 men and women, attacked and set fire to an American USAID installation, closing the bridge and Highway 1. Again and again, this company of South Vietnamese troops worked their way down the far side of the bridge, and again they were mortared, taking many casualties, leaving many dead.
The troops are now moving down on the other side of Newport Bridge. He's trying to, there's AK fire coming in from the factory. But now they've crossed the hump of the bridge, it means they're advancing anyway. We still don't know how many there are down there. We thought about 12 earlier today. An armored car's going up on the left. There's no way of shifting these people. There must be, what, 500 or 600 troops on this bridge, fighting probably a dozen or so, maybe 20 at the most, communists, and yet there they are, they've been there all today.
There was a desperation in these troops and their commanders we'd not seen before. Despite the mortars hitting the bridge to the left, only 50 yards away, these men kept their places, pulling their dead and wounded out and returning. Through the smoke, we could just see a Viet Cong running left to right, just for a second or so, and then falling as he was hit by machine gun fire. Quickly, the very forward unit of South Vietnamese ran, throwing hand grenades 30 feet ahead of them. The smoke turned on us again, and out of it, in the briefest lull in the crossfire, soldiers came running out carrying children. And also out on a stretcher came a young woman, also badly wounded. She was dressed in a black uniform, and there was a rifle on the stretcher with her. She was a Viet Cong. The firefight lasted another 2 hours, but because of our open position on the bridge, there was no way we ourselves could get out. But a final charge, and a last volley of hand grenades, and the fight to reopen Newport Bridge on Highway 1 was over.
So the battle for Newport Bridge ends this evening, back in South Vietnamese hands. And a half an hour ago, these men were told that they had a new president. President Min installed in the presidential palace, the man who they hope, we hope, will bring peace to this country.
The docks on Tuesday morning were crammed with thousands of Vietnamese desperate to escape from Saigon by any means possible. The harbour was full of small cargo ships, full of people who were going to attempt the impossible, try and sail down the river to the sea. The sandbags were to stop the B-40 rockets and communist shells that would certainly be fired at them in this desperate, perhaps suicidal attempt. As we, the press and the Americans evacuating, made our drive through Saigon to the American embassy, people, mostly families, pleaded with us for a seat, and they hung to the coach. The coach behind us suddenly accelerated, and children hanging on the side fell off and under the wheels. The city was suddenly choked with people, lorries and cars, all chasing one American evacuation convoy after the other. Jams that the Vietnamese police tried to clear with their rifles, but people were no longer afraid of them. There was now so much more to be afraid of. But then suddenly we too, the 40 or 50 of us in the safety of the coaches, had to get out and fight our way to the American compound where the helicopters were landing to fly us and the thousands more out of the country. Seeing us in the streets with our bags, the Vietnamese followed. Any chance they thought was better than none. But the embassy gates were closed, and we, like the frightened Vietnamese and their families, had to fight and claw our way up. And we did claw, and we did fight. And if it wasn't for one single American Marine, whose name I didn't have the chance or time to discover, we would never have climbed our way to our evacuation. He hauled us up, kicking and punching Vietnamese who were clambering over our bodies. Ashamed and exhausted, we took our turn in the long crowd of refugees inside the embassy compound and waited for the helicopters to come down for us. One by one they came in, landing on an improvised pad in the car park. All had come from American aircraft carriers steaming 20 miles out in the South China Sea. Marines guarded each of the 4 embassy gates as the lucky people ran 30 at a time to their transport to safety. In the first 6 hours of Tuesday, over 1,500 people were airlifted out this way, and almost as many more were still waiting their turn. Our turn came just as it began to get dark, a little after 7:30. Evacuees from the besieged Saigon. And 30 minutes later, we landed safely on our carrier off the South Vietnamese coast.
These people are waiting, hopefully, but I imagine vainly, for a helicopter to land here on the roof of the American embassy in the middle of Saigon and take them to safety. But they have no papers. They've just come here because the whole embassy is wide open. They've come up the stairs. They're in fact on the chopper pad. No helicopter would probably land under these circumstances. And so they wait here vainly. Possibly a helicopter will come back, but it looks most unlikely, because about 10 past 8 this morning, what looked like a final Marine helicopter touched down here briefly, took aboard a handful of Marines, and then lifted off. And that looked like the end of the American evacuation.
I had one select man that should definitely have left. I was waiting for him. He's sitting up here now, and here we are.
How do you rate the chances?
Negligible now.
Do you think the last ones have gone?
I think they're all gone. I don't think these people up here are committing suicide staying up here, but what can you do?
Taken out, you think? You think he flew out yesterday?
Yeah, him will.
Okay, and you're just staying on? Fine, thank you very much indeed. Wish you the best of luck.
I hope you can drag me go see him.
Well.
I'm very happy that General Min come, see? So I see very happy. I cannot say anything now.
You think it's right to stop
Yeah, that's
fighting?
right, yeah. Because the Vietnamese people all the fight, but more than 25 years now. So now we don't stop fight, you know. I'm very happy, you know, very happy for all the lot of kids and me, all the people of the Vietnamese army.
What are you going to do yourself now?
Right now, if the peace, if I don't have the job, I can take care of one taxis. I can ride around, make the money every day for my wife and my baby. That's all I want to do.
Drive a taxi.
Everybody happy with the peace. See, that's all I want to do.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody happy. Don't want to fight anymore.
This is a historic moment, the arrival of the North Vietnamese regular army in Saigon, right in the middle of Saigon, just after 12 o'clock, just after noon. Here they are, pouring down the main avenue. Further up there is the American embassy, and at this end of the avenue, is the former presidential palace, which President Chu left just over a week ago, and from which General Min has today announced that he will unconditionally hand over to the new regime. And here they are, arriving in Saigon. Well, this is the presidential palace under new management. There they are, the regular troops of the North Vietnamese army on the balcony. Above them, the flag, the North Vietnamese flag. They are now the new masters.
Lên đây xong rồi danh sách vậy. Cách đây về cái gì?